Nail or beauty school was just the beginning, right? What on earth do you do now? Welcome to the Salon Success podcast with Monaco Nail Academy. Our topics stretch beyond nails and into all things salon related business, marketing, and social media, and at the very least hits you with real, honest stories about our experiences. This isn't school, this is real life, real business, and really freaking hard work. Before we get started, wherever you are, thumbs up, tag a friend in the comments, or hit that share button and support small business. Hey guys, Penny here from Monaco Nail Academy, and today I'm joined by Pat.
Hi.
And Alicia.
Hi.
And we're talking, I guess it's meta ads now, right? But like Facebook and Instagram ads. Right?
And just a reminder before we get started to use my affiliate code Alicia, ALISHA, for 10% off all courses. I get a kickback from these enrollments, and they're how we support the production of the podcast.
Or you can use Patsitive. PATSITIVE.
So before we get stuck into this week's topic, were you here for no, I don't know if you were on the most recent one, Alicia. I'm just gonna check. Anatomy and disorders. Nah. Before we get stuck into the new topic, let's just quickly revisit last week. So last week we were chatting about anatomy and disorders, which sounds boring as a mofo. And it is, which is why you should go listen to that podcast episode, because it's important information, but it's so much more fun to just listen to people chat about it and absorb it by osmosis than have to study it, which is why we've been doing podcast episodes every few weeks that are based on sections of our course, The Theory of Nails, so that we can they're being embedded in the course as we go, but obviously they're available for everyone. And the idea is you can chuck it on while you're in the car, while you're doing your housework, whatever. For all of our audio learners or people that are a little bit more kinetic, Theory has videos, but this is more background chat where you can absorb the info. So that's what we were doing last week. Do you reckon, I feel like, Pat, that would have really helped you with Theory?
Oh, I would have had so much fun, listening to that podcast episode during my study. But, well, for future Pats who are joining, you should go listen to that podcast episode. Oh, speaking of disorders, I was just recently doing a male manicure for someone with diabetes, and it was so stressful. I was well, no, it was like a pedicure, and I was looking at his feet, and I was like, I can see why a podiatrist is usually the one doing your nails. And it was very, very stressful. And I was just very cautiously being is this skin? Is this nail? Is it what am I doing? Very
Do you
stressful.
want to quickly explain for new newbies why that is a stressful situation?
So why it's stressful is because people with diabetes, one of the things that happens when you have diabetes is for some reason it's harder for you to recover from any injuries like cuts and stuff. So I had to take extra care to not cut this person because I didn't want to cause a lingering wound that would then become an infection or something. Plus, with diabetes, oftentimes because of just other comorbid conditions, they end up their nail conditions end up getting really rough, and then there's buildup, and I forget the terms, but it's you start seeing them looking just really wonky. Go Google diabetes nails, or diabetes feet. Actually, do not,
That's
because
dinner time.
oh yeah, definitely do it. Do not. Do not. You will not be happy. Don't do that.
Alicia, what's not weird's not the right word, but the most interesting disorder that you've come across IRL?
Oh, I feel like I've been very, very lucky to not have to deal with too much. I would say the biggest battle I always have is rigid nails, or permanent trauma. I have a client. She doesn't even remember how she did it to her pointer finger, but it was sometime when she was a kid. She must have jammed in a door or something like that. And ever since then, it grows back like on an angle, and the cuticle overgrows itself because it's, trying to protect. And it's almost like one part of the nail's fine, and then it just like concave on the other side. And that's always a bit of a challenge.
I get frustrated when people with wonky nails want, like, I know that I can file the shape to correct the shape, but then I'm taking out all of the sidewall on one side and all of the strength. So
Mm.
I've got a few clients with these like situations, but I've got one in particular that will always remind me every single time to please like file it so it looks straight. And every single time I'm like, okay, but I'm taking all the strength out of it. And every time she's like, I don't care. And every time she comes back with it broken. And I'm like, okay, so it looked cute for the first few days, but then you broke it. So it wasn't actually cute the whole time. Like, why don't we just let it grow out naturally? I have said to her, if you want it straightened, like we're better, she's just a gel polish client. So I'm like, we're better to do Buddha in a bottle or something so that you want it straighter, but we're also reinforcing the strength, but she doesn't like Buddha in a bottle. Okay. I did my bit. I'll do what
Yeah.
you want.
She doesn't want builder on like, could she have builder on just one nail for just for that one
Okay, I'll
strength?
just sculpt that nail to kind of
She could,
straighten.
but she had Builder in a Bottle when she first came to me because a friend had it, and then she just couldn't get over the feeling of like that little bit of extra thickness compared to just gel polish. So she gets rubber base, and then like so she gets two coats of the light pink rubber base, and then one coat of peach whip, which is a sheer neutral peach color. She gets the same thing every single time. She does not want Builder in a Bottle. She tried it. She didn't like it. She wanted it off. Okay.
I watched a webinar from Artistic where they sculpted, like they did builder in a bottle, but using the rubber base. And I was
Yeah,
like, that's so cool. But she probably won't want that because of the thickness thing. So
exactly. Like,
that's
but
her life.
as it is, I am like, I'm pushing the boundary, getting this amount of strength onto her. Because some people are just like, I've had maybe three or four people over my whole career that actually can't even wear like traditional polish because anything on their nail feels suffocating. And the first time I ever came across it, I sort of just dismissed it like, okay, whatever. No one can feel traditional polish. That's crazy talk. But now, 18 years in, I've come across four people years apart who say the exact same thing. And it's at the point now where person number four is a teenager who has Down syndrome, whose sister comes in for nails, and their mum comes with the sister, and the teenager has like the mum is trying to get the teenager to get her nails done, like, oh, you're gonna really like it, and the girl who does not want her nails done is like, I don't like it, I don't like the feeling. And I've tried like saying to the teenager like is it because you can feel it? Does it feel heavy? And she's like, yes. And then I think the mum, like, she's an incredible mum, like, so incredible, and really like a massive advocate for people with Down syndrome. But I think she dismisses it as like a miscommunication in the way that her teenager communicates with her and is like, no, 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 you'll like it. And I'm like, no, from what she's saying, I swear she's saying what these three other people have said where they can feel it and they like, I'm like, I don't want to do her nails because I think she can feel it. And I think
So
it's
some kind of
weird.
sensory thing.
Yeah,
But then you have like the opposite extreme where I have clients who want all the 3D stuff so that they can feel it.
yeah. I had a client who worked as a teacher aide for an autistic child in a primary school, and we would always put stuff on her fingers. Like we would do like blue with like this was before 3D gel, but like hard gel dots. So there were bubbles he could pop and like or like little things like that, things that he could like play with on her hands.
That's
Yeah.
so fun. Fidgets. Finger
Yeah.
fidgets.
Yeah, before fidgets were a thing, really.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about ads today because it came up in someone else's conversation a while back, and I just wrote it down as an idea because I hear pretty often that people are like, "Oh, I did an ad once, but it just didn't work." And then I'm like, "No, if it's not working, it's because you did it wrong." So I thought we could have an episode where we just chat about the way to direct ads and have them actually work because they will actually work. And I know, Pat, you haven't tried paid ads yet, right?
No, I haven't.
And Alicia, I know you have. So tell us about your experience so far trying out ads.
I really like them. I haven't used them as much for nails, but when I was a tattoo artist, if we had like a flash sheet, so if you're doing this for nails, maybe you have, like a special of the month, or if it's, coming into Halloween, maybe you've got Halloween designs. I think it's a great idea because you can boost the post and pay for however long you want it to run for. And there's even little tools like how much engagement you want, how many people you can reach with that. You can pop in the area you're based, all of those little hashtags. So I think if you're catering that post to something, if it's nail art, if it's manicures, pedicures, whatever it is, you can put in those categories. And then anyone who's receiving that sort of media on their accounts are likely to come across it.
I think the way that you're describing it is such an important thing to actually define because what you're describing is you had a sale, you had something to sell, so you promoted that thing you had to sell with an ad. Ads are to sell things, right? Like people know
Totally.
when they see an ad, you are trying to sell me something. However, the way I treat ads, so in Salon Success, monaco.ac.nz/course/marketing, we teach the 80/20 rule, which is a really common concept throughout marketing where 80% of what you're doing should be what we call free value, like education, entertainment, relatable stories, behind the scenes, like just especially with social media, people are scrolling to be entertained, to procrastinate, to be distracted, like to escape. They're not scrolling social media to shop, or they would be on the marketplace tab. So most of your content, 80%, should be filling in the space of what people want to see when they don't doom scrolling. 20% of your content should be where you're converting them into sales. So they're getting the majority is just entertainment, procrastination, filling that gap. 20% get the sale. And that's kind of how I treat ads is the majority, I would say 98% of what we post to social media is the the 80% value. Behind the scenes, what like bits and pieces. And then I treat our ads as the 20%. So there's exceptions. I might boost a really good, I say boost, but it's not actually the boost button. I might
Don't you
put,
have feelings about Boost? Like, I thought you hated Boost or
I do.
something.
I will I'll come back to the boost button. But I'll put an ad on, like sometimes I'll put an ad on a behind the scenes post that's doing really well. Sometimes I'll do a normal post that is an ad. But generally speaking, I'm using an ad to sell. And that's basically what you described as well, Alicia.
Yeah, I think that 80-20% is a really good rule though, because that helps you to engage people first. And then once they've seen that a few times, they've seen the behind the scenes of this, and then they get hit with, hey, here's our courses, or here's what I can sell you. They go, oh, I've been seeing this, quite a few times, and now I'm already interested. So I'm going to click on this, or I'm going to look this up and check this out.
So it sounds like the important thing is that if you're planning to do ads, it needs to be for a purpose. Like you shouldn't just be like, I'm just gonna chop up an ad for no reason and it's not doing anything. Like you wouldn't do it just to be like, introducing me. And people are like, what do I do with this?
You That would be like a brand awareness ad, and you could do it when you just opened, or you might do a month that is specifically targeted to getting to know you, and all of your content is around like reintroducing yourself or like stuff like that, there's a time and place for it. But in general, yes, the ad should be backing up content that you're already putting out there.
Mm.
Like that's one of the things with the person I was talking to that put this idea for the episode in my head. When they said their ads didn't work, I was like, I'm actually wondering, was it Brittany? If it was Brittany, it was in an episode recently. I can't remember though, so I don't want to say it was Brittany, but it might have been. But we did a coaching episode with her a few weeks ago. But someone who may or may not have been Brittany said their ads didn't work. And I went and looked on their socials, like as part of the conversation that we were having. And I was like, okay, but there's nothing here. So people statistically need 7 brand exposures before they will commit to a sale, and that includes booking and nails. And brand exposures, like Mel has talked about, like having her business card just out and about in the world because you see and recognize it. It can be something really little. It can be driving past your sign or your flag. It can be your logo on the shirt of a kid playing sport because you sponsored a shirt for a sports team. Like it can be lots of things. It can also be social media posts, but someone needs 7 on average exposures to your brand before they will consider booking. If your ad is the first thing they've ever seen, your ad is not going to get the booking, but what it will do is get their attention. So, like,
So they'll go on the ad, they'll click onto your profile, and then they'll have a nosy. And if there's nothing there, they'll be like, all right, then bye.
Yeah.
yeah, because like imagine like would you book a hairdresser based on an ad? Like I wouldn't. Or like there are some things that you might see an ad and be like, "Oh, I want that," and quickly buy it. But even then, usually the things that I would buy instantly off an ad are still things that I was already interested in, like, oh, I've seen that product used in a TikTok, or oh, Pat mentioned this like months ago. What is it? And like click it and look at it properly. But like, especially a service and especially a personal appearance service, but also just in general, like it's extremely rare that someone is going to see an ad. Like, even if your ad had the most incredible set of nails ever done in the entire world ever, very few people are going to immediately click it and book because people are so skeptical. So even if your ad had the most beautiful, incredible nails anyone has ever done in the entire world, people are going to look and be like, yeah, but I bet they're AI. Like you have to have something to back it up.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I feel like the ad is kind of like getting people through the door. It's like if you were walking down the street, right, and there were a bunch of shops, the window display is kind of like the ad. And then if you see a beautiful display, you're like, I'm gonna go inside and see what's there. But then when you go in, if it's empty, you'll be like, what the hell? And then you leave. But also, if you go in and the vibe is completely different from the ad, you'll be like, or the window display, you'll probably leave as well. So I guess that's the same thing when we're doing our digital ads. Like we want to make sure that when we get people in the door, like they click, they're like, oh, that sounds cool. They'll go in, they'll have a look at your stuff. And if it's like, why is there's nothing here, then you won't do anything with that. Like I know I have gotten tattoos off like ads on Instagram, which sounds crazy, but it's like I saw the ad, I went in, I followed, I looked at their posts, I waited a couple weeks, and then I got tattoos. So
Yeah.
there was a process.
Hey guys, Penny from the future here. Are you ready to take your salon to the next level? The Client Magnet is a free 5-day online coaching program by Monaco Nail Academy designed to help you attract and retain clients. With our comprehensive program, you'll learn proven techniques to grow your client base and keep your schedule packed. From expert marketing strategies to client retention secrets, we've got everything you need. Transform your salon and achieve the success you've always dreamed of. Join the Client Magnet today and start making your salon the go-to spot in town. Head to www.monaco.ac.nz/magnet. Okay, 2 things. So first of all, what you just said about vibe a second ago, Pat, is also really important. How you said, like if you see the ad or the window display, you go in and it's a totally different vibe, you'll probably also leave. That is so important because it's the person walking in is confused. That's why they leave. If you see a window display that is super, like, I'm thinking of a clothing store and I don't know why, but so you see a window display that is like super chic, professional, like power suit woman kind of thing. And then you walk in and it's like Hot Topic emo goth vibes. You're gonna be like, what the F is this? And leave.
Yeah.
However, if you actually saw the Hot Topic window display, chances are you would have walked in and potentially liked it because maybe you are power suit during the day and then Hot Topic on the weekends. But it's the fact that you went in expecting something and then you were like, wait, this isn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's like, even if you didn't leave, it's going to put you off. So making sure that your ads, your content, everything is consistent. And Mel's been really good at this in previous episodes about saying like that she's going to swear and be silly and whatever on her posts, because if you then go into her salon and she's swearing and being silly, you got what you like expected. Whereas if she was profesh AF on socials and then a nutter in person, they'll be like, is this? So like, yeah, what you said about the vibe needing to be consistent. Don't make your ads like perfect and polished, and then that's not who you are.
Totally. You've got to have that expectation that people are going to follow what they see. And then, that consistency, of course.
Yeah, 100%. And the other thing I was gonna say was like tacked on to what you said, Pat. The other thing that put in my head was like you talked about your journey of seeing an ad for a tattoo and how you actually got to the booking. That's kind of actually like I have it written in front of me to say basically the same thing, but I want to elaborate on it. Is like if you did see an ad for like a hairdresser or whatever, like I said, you're not going to book off just the ad. You're going to follow the ad to their socials. You have to like what you see, follow the socials for a while, think about it, potentially save up depending on your budget or what you want, and then book. Like there's a journey to it. And like you said, the ad is literally just the first step of getting that person's attention.
And also, if people are like, my ads aren't working, how do you know they're not working? Are you doing your lead tracker? Or is it conversion tracker? Lead tracker?
Conversion tracker.
Conversion tracker? Are you doing a conversion tracker? Because if you are, that's how you'll know if they found you through the ad or through something else. So, do your conversion tracker. I got confused between lead tracker and conversion tracker because I guess they are your leads and then they become converted. But anyway.
Yeah. You are tracking your leads and your conversions on the same sheet, really. Do you want to, for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, do you want to just quickly explain what the conversion tracker, what you're recording?
Cool. So if you don't know what a conversion tracker is, you should really go back to one of our previous episodes where we talk about this. But in the meantime, a conversion tracker is basically like a spreadsheet where you track your leads. So what's a lead? A lead is someone who is interested in your services. So it could be someone who likes who comments on your post or sends you a message or gives you a call or sends you a text, but they have to be interested in your services. So if they comment on your post and they're like, I love the color red, that's not a lead. But if they reply to your post and they're like, oh, what's your availability? That's a lead, baby. Record that. Put down the date, write down their details, way to contact them, and you're just going to track to see if they're eventually going to convert. So they convert if they pay for a service. So if they book in for a manicure, they book in for a repair, they book in for spa pedicure, whatever. I know we don't do spa pedicures, but I'm just saying, whatever it is, if they book, they become a conversion. You track that. And then over time, you want to see how many of your leads are converting. The higher the conversion rate, the better it is for you. But even if your conversion rate is like 2%, that's like, it's just a number. You can make it go up. And this is important for goals and stuff. So again, go back to the old episode, but the name I can't remember. We should ask ChatGPT to like.
It's called it's called Can You Plan to Make Money?
There you go. Go to that
Because
one.
it came up in the last episode, so I looked it up during the episode.
That's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I
But
love
yeah, the
that.
idea, like Pat's saying, is that once and like so you, Pat said to take their details, but like so if someone's just commenting and saying what's your availability, the only details you have might be their name on social media. That's okay. Just record it anyway. And then yeah, if it's a phone call, you'll have their phone number, record that, but just record what you've got. And then yeah, like Pat said, when they do book and pay for a service, you'll note that as well. And eventually you will have statistics on how many people inquire versus how many of those people actually book. And if you know that that is 20% of all people that inquire are going to book, you know that you need 5 inquiries for every one booking. If 1% book, then you know that you need 100 inquiries for every one booking. And it just means that then you have statistics to go back on and go, okay, cool. Well, this generated like 50 inquiries, and based on these stats, I can expect this number of bookings. But you can also reverse engineer, which is what that episode's about, and say, okay, I want to make $100,000 this year, reverse engineer through a couple of steps that we explain, and end up at, I will need like 1,500 inquiries to get the number of bookings to make that. And then you put all your effort into getting that number of inquiries. Because statistically, you know, if you if you increase inquiries, you will get that much money.
Yeah, it's a great guide to be able to set your goals and actually know that there's going to be some sort of outcome because you have those statistics there to show, okay, this is working, but maybe this one didn't work so well. So let's focus on the one that did and aim for that.
Yeah, for sure. And the way you know if it's working is if you also record in your tracker how they found out about you, right? Or like what
Exactly.
made you book.
Yeah.
I think like the person, I really wish that I knew if it was Brittany or not, because if it is Brittany, I feel bad being like the person. But if it's not Brittany, I feel bad being like, Brittany said this and she didn't. Anyways, the person I was talking to, it's a pretty common thing that comes up, to be honest. But like the person I was talking to, when they said their ads didn't work, and obviously I've already said they didn't really have anything on their socials, but like, so they said their ads didn't work, but their definition of an ad working was a client in the seat giving money. But like that goes back to like Pat, you said about ads needing a purpose. Like, is the purpose to get money from someone, or is there a different purpose to an ad? Because you're saying like this is how you'll know it's working. Okay, well, if the purpose was to get their money, then you need to approach the ad in an entirely different way than if the purpose was to just bring awareness to the fact that you're new in town, or that Alicia's back from holiday, or that you've got a new service being added that you didn't have before. Like, yeah, it depends what the goal was. And if the goal is to get an actual booking, then you're going to look at ads in a different way.
And in terms of purpose as well, I think we talked about this on the podcast before that like whenever we're interacting with people, we're like trying to get something in the sense that like when we're doing marketing efforts, for example. So it's like if we're doing an ad, it's either we're trying to do a sale, like maybe with a flash design kind of promo, or it could be you're trying to get their email, ideally their email, because if someone just likes your page, you don't really have control over that. But if you have some kind of, I have a freebie, do you want to know about taking care of your nails at home? Then you can share that and people can give you their email. And then if they sign up, they get that PDF. And then voila, you have an email. They can now you can now email them anytime you like and you can keep track of them. Um, or maybe it's you want them to leave a comment or you want them to DM you, who knows? But you need to make sure that you have a plan, just like you said, Penny, like you have a plan or a purpose for why they're like, why are you doing an ad? Is it just because you want people to see your face? Cool. Being an influencer. I don't know where I was going with that.
It was on the right track.
I just kind of went, ah.
We love a tangent. It's what we do. Okay, so let's talk about then how to prep before you do the ads. So we've said, okay, you don't have your social media empty, but I'm going to say the first thing that you should do if you really want successful ads, and this is a self promo, but you should do the client magnet, which is monaco.ac.nz/magnet. But what it is 5 free days of videos that help you determine your ideal customer and how to communicate with them in your social media. So like how to get your ideas across. So I would say number one, do the client magnet so you have a clear idea of what you need to be posting to communicate in the right way with the person you want to be communicating with on the vibes of like power suit versus hot topic. And then you need like a social media plan around posting to that person. Thoughts?
Yes. I think it's all about, finding your ideal avatar, right? You're thinking, I want to attract someone that fits my vibe, that this is going to help, whether it's a service catered towards something specific. And you're thinking, cool, this person's going to have a problem and I'm going to fix it. Or, for example, ball season. Great. Everyone wants their nails done because it's ball season. Awesome. Here's a deal that I've got where you can get whatever it is, your nails and your pedicure for a discounted price because this is a ball deal. And I think catering it towards someone like that who's already potentially looking for something is a great way to do it. I don't know if that made much sense, but hopefully it
I was just thinking that, like, I know you just said give them a discount, but like here on the Salon Success podcast, we believe in giving people extra value instead of being like discounts. You can just be like, on top of that, I will give you a pedicure instead of being like, I'm discounting you. Framing. I don't know. I think that makes sense, Alicia. Yeah. I can't think over the pain. Sorry.
It's okay. I do think that's a better idea. And I think I worded that completely wrong as well. I think if I was going to post a special for, say, fall season, it would be like, if you book in for a manicure and a set of extensions, you get a complimentary deluxe treatment on the end of it. So a hand scrub and a hot towel and a massage or whatever that. Find something to upsell on rather than being like, this is the discounted service. I think that attracts people a lot more and you're not really losing out on much as a business, especially a small business.
Hey guys, Future Penny here again. Just a super quick interruption to let you know that if you head to monaco.ac.nz/subscribe, not only can you sign up to our weekly newsletter, but you'll also get a free video lesson from our course, The Art of Pigments. That's monaco.ac.nz/subscribe. With ball season, I think I would say like bring 2 friends and then each of you gets free feature nails. Like
That's a good idea.
Get the bulk, make it a vibe, have like, come in with your girls and get something done and like the bonus can just be feature nails or something.
I think that's awesome. That's a great idea.
I'm not always the biggest fan of promoting ball season. It depends, but I just always think like it depends on your town because it can be a lovely boost to your income ball season, but at the same time I don't know anyone whose avatar is like a 16-year-old with a part-time job.
Yeah, I definitely don't do many ball nails compared to I think other people in my area. I always see other local techs promoting ball season and I feel like it is definitely a great boost like you're saying. But I think if you're trying to attract long-term clients, that's definitely not the sort of content you want to be posting.
I think all I would do, and this is, again, open to whatever someone feels is right for their salon. I think all I would do for ball season specifically is a couple of posts on my community group and just let the mums be like, yes, I've heard she's good, book with her. Like, I wouldn't put money behind an ad for it.
I mean, if we don't like ball season, there is a wedding season, which is winter? No, summer? When is summer? I don't even know. I'm like, wait, when?
I just think, again, like, it depends because if you live in a place that has, like, destination weddings, like, okay, cool, maybe that's a moneymaker for you. But I think, like, my focus, if I'm going to put money on an ad, my focus is to get someone that's going to come and give me $1,500 a year with regular recurring bookings, not someone that's going to come to me once. Like, I don't need that singular booking. I would rather put considering it takes 7 exposures to get a booking, and, you know, no matter who books, it's going to take the same amount of effort to get them. So I'm going to put my effort and my money into getting someone that's going to come back every 3 weeks and give me $1,500 a year, not someone who's going to, like, I still want them. I'll do a couple of posts about it. I'll show if I do wedding nails, but I won't put my ad money into trying to get one-offs. I'll put my ad money into trying to attract my avatar.
Consistent work, I think, is definitely something to put money behind.
Yeah. And like all of your posts really should be about your avatar. So the avatar is what you're working out in the client magnet. And it's just your ideal client. And again, how to communicate with them. It's not just about working out who your ideal client is. But yeah, 90% of your posts should be targeting that ideal client, and like including with your captions, your photos, like everything should be keeping that person in mind, because when you do get to the point of doing your paid ads, that's who you want to be clicking them, and so that's who you want to be attracted to your content. So we talked earlier about the fact that if someone sees an ad, they click onto your socials or your website or whatever, and there's nothing there, they're going to be like, okay, bored, go to the next person. But also, if they click your ad and then everything on your socials is school balls, they're going to be like, not my vibe, and click away. So you can do it sporadic, but it almost leans into 80-20 again. Like, you definitely need to have the majority of your content targeted to the person who you are also going to target your ad to.
That makes sense, yeah. I think also just on targeting the right person, depending on your avatar, you want to make sure your post publish, what's the word? Like posting your ads up on the right platform. So if your avatar hangs out on Instagram, make sure you're putting ads on Instagram. But if they're only on Facebook, make sure your ads are on Facebook, because certain people hang out on different platforms. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Yeah.
And if your avatar, your avatar should be pretty specific, but we will often take an ad, set it up for Facebook with a slightly older demographic, and then duplicate that ad and put it on Instagram with a slightly younger demographic. And often there's more tweaking that goes on, but like just that change can target the right people.
Ooh, that makes sense. And I guess that's a good reminder as well that you don't have to have just one ad. In fact, it might be good to have multiple running with slight variations, and you can test which ones are more, I guess, effective. I think that's a strategy that you've talked about before, Penny.
It is next on my list.
I'm just reading your mind.
Yeah. Well, before I say that though, so the only other thing I was going to say about prepping before you do ads is to make sure that your content is consistent. So don't do a burst of like something every day for 5 days and then nothing for a month. You're better off if you have 5 days worth of content to schedule it once a week for 5 weeks. And then if you get extra content, great, put more up. But at least like have something fresh going up, like ideally once every few days. But at very least, like once a week, or hell, if you can do it once every 2 weeks, that's all you can do. Who cares? As long as there's something going up consistently. But definitely, I would say the ideal is once every 2 days. And the closer you can get to that, the better. But as long as it's consistent, so that's like you just can't do a burst of content and then be like, yeah, cool, now I'm good now my ad will work. No, it needs to be like consistent for a month or so that they have something to look back on and click and scroll through. So the prep for ads would be do the client magnet, monaco.ac.nz/magnet, to determine who you're going to be talking to and how to communicate with them. I would also do the caption kit, monaco.ac.nz/the-caption-kit, which is a worksheet for helping you write really good captions for your content.
It's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I use it all the time.
You do? That's so cool. I love that. Okay. Didn't even pay her to say that, guys. So yeah, do the client magnet, get your avatar do the caption kit, know how to talk to them, get your content up, targeting that person. Forget the schoolball girls, forget the wedding girls. Let's just focus on a target. Later, when you've like 3/4 booked, chuck in your ball ads. But like, let's focus on the avatar for now. Get that content up a couple of times a week, and I'm going to say is the goal. Get it rolling for a month, and then we can move into creating ads. But that I would not put any money on an ad if I had not primed my socials and my website to receive the ad viewers. And then leaning into what you were going to say, Pat, is when I do come to do an ad, I'm going to split test the shit out of that. So what you were saying is basically split testing. So when I do an ad, what I will do is, first of all, I have my avatar in mind. I know exactly who I'm targeting with the ad. Second, I have the purpose. So I know whether this one is because I want to get a booking, whether I want to sell a gift voucher, whether I want brand awareness, whatever it is, we're going to choose what we want. So let's say I've got my avatar decided. I know who I'm talking to. I've primed my social media. And now I want to get people to book Builder in a Bottle. That's going to be my target for this ad campaign, is to get people to make Builder in a Bottle bookings, bums and seats with money. So then I'm going to decide what value I'm giving them to drive the sale. And you can go a few episodes back to our urgency, scarcity, and exclusivity episode to find different ways of adding value that might work differently for your business. But let's say, for example, I'm going to say anyone booking Builder in a Bottle via the ad is going to get a scrub and massage. Like, let's just say that's the added value we're doing. So then I'm going to create the ads. And in the back end of Meta, or depends where you're doing the ads, but we're just going to talk about Meta for this. In the back end of Meta, you're going to create the ad. There are 10 million YouTube videos that can tell you how to do it. Just make sure that you type how to do an ad on Meta 2025 or 2026 or whatever, because that is why I will not tell you how to do it. And that is why Salon Success has no screenshot teaching of how to do things in the social media platforms, because they change every 3 days. So YouTube, how to do it if you don't know how, but you're going to create your ads. And within the ads, you have multiple sections. Like, you've got a headline, you've got the description, you've got the images, you've got like some parts of platforms have different little sub descriptions. Like, there's all these different pieces, right? So you're going to create an ad that has a headline that is like, a free upgrade with Builder in a Bottle in May, whatever. And then you're going to have a description. The description is going to speak directly to your avatar, and it's going to tell them how you're going to solve the problem. Exactly what Alicia said earlier. Like, they have a problem, either their nails are breaking, or they don't like coming in for like maintenance all the time. They want something that lasts a long time, or acrylic's too rigid for them, or like whatever their problem is, their nails are breaking, whatever it is, you're going to solve that problem. But the way you're going to talk to them is as if you know them, because they're your avatar. You do know them. They're your favorite client. They're the person you want to sit across from all the time. So you're going to talk to them the way that you would talk to them in real life, so that it's not so like salesy and like formal. And you create the ad, you put the images that you've decided to use, you've got your heading, description, and images. Okay, great. You've got an ad running. That's not enough. We need to split test it. So in Meta, you can duplicate the ad. So what you're going to do is duplicate the ad and just change the headline. And then you're going to duplicate it again and change the headline.
That's such a good idea.
Honestly. So when you
Never thought of that.
Well, I'm going to change your life. Because when you have 5 to 10 ads that are identical but with different headlines running, you're going to tick, let's say 5, but honestly I'd do 10, but let's say 5. You're going to tick all 5, and you can duplicate all 5 at once. And then for all 5, so now you have 2 sets of ads that each have different headings. But now in the second set, you're going to change all the descriptions. So now you've got multiple descriptions and multiple headlines, and you can do the same thing with the images. And you will end up if you duplicate properly, so if you've got 5 headline variations and then 5 of each of those with different description variations, that's 25 ads. And if you do 5 variations of photos on those 25 that you duplicate all at once, that's 125 ads. But they all are just variations of that one ad you made, but slightly different wording or slightly different pictures. And what you're going to do is put $20 on that ad for the first 48 hours, maybe 3 days. And after 36 hours, you're going to cut it by half based on what performed badly. So in the back end of Meta, you can organize by number of clicks or the cost per click. So you might have an ad that you thought was incredible. You put all this thought into it. It's beautiful, amazing. And in a past life, you would have just let that go and that would have been your ad. And then you would have complained it didn't work. But that ad might have a cost per click of $1.50, meaning that to get one person to click it, they had to spend $1.50 showing hundreds of people before they found the one that would click it. What we want is a cost per click of, in an ideal world, 1 cent. I've had it like 3 times ever, but up to say like 25, 35 cents. If it's high converting, I'll go 50 cents, but I will never spend more than 50 cents on an ad. We're aiming for like 20 cents per ad. So anything that is like, we're going to cut it by half based on the worst performing. So now we're down to 60 ads. After another 24 hours, you're going to cut it by half. Another 24 hours, you're going to cut it by half until you have the 3 winning ads remaining. And let me tell you, at least one of those remaining ads that is performing really well will make absolutely no sense. The headline and the description and the image combo will be the least matching combination that you could possibly think of, and you'll be like, why the heck are people clicking on this? It doesn't even make sense. And it will get you the most bookings, which is why we split test. So when you get down to 3 good performing ads, that's what you let run, and that's what you then put the rest of your budget onto. So you don't put your budget on the ad at the start. You just put your like $20 of testing money, and then once you've narrowed it down to your 3 best ads, best performing ads, that's when you throw in the rest of your budget. Penny from the future popping in just quickly to remind you that if you want more bookings in Salon, you can join our free marketing workshop, The Client Magnet, at monaco.ac.nz/magnet.
Can you like reuse an ad? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just checking.
Yeah. That is a shit ton of work.
I know. I was like, this is like, I'm overwhelmed. Like,
well, that's a good point though, because what I would say is that when you're creating an ad, try and make it evergreen, meaning it can be reused. The more specific you are in the ad, the less you can reuse it. Because if you say, book before the 31st of May and get this service for $35, that's so specific. If you say, like, book this month and get a free upgrade, click here for details. Now, whatever month you put money on it, it applies. And whatever you update on that specials page of your website now applies.
Smart.
But what I do is I have some ads for my salon, but mostly what I do is run ads for Monaco. And so, for example, what I will do is a split test for the Client Magnet. Now I have 3 ads that work really well for the Client Magnet, and I will add the word evergreen in all caps to the end of that ad title for my records. Then I'll do an ad campaign for Launchpad. And when I have my top 3, or if they're real good, 4, if there's only 2, but like I have my top 3 Launchpad ads, now I keep those and I rename that evergreen. Now, if you look at my meta dashboard for ads, there's about 10 campaigns that sit there with all caps saying evergreen. You can keep your ads forever, but I'm ruthless and I don't like clutter. So if a campaign is dead and done, it didn't work, whatever, or it was time specific, it gets deleted. So my dashboard just has 10-ish campaigns that are for evergreen things that I will then, every Monday, I will turn off the one that ran last week and I'll turn on a new one. So Launchpad's running right now. And it's the
Oh.
same Launchpad campaign. And what I'll do is I will watch it to make sure that as I reuse it, if the cost per click starts going up, it's not working anymore. So then I will recreate a new Launchpad campaign,
Mm.
re-split test it, and then delete the old one and make that one evergreen. So I'm watching to make sure my cost per click doesn't sneak up. But other than that, I'm absolutely creating evergreen campaigns.
That is so clever. I have never got that detailed into the ads before.
Thanks.
But in saying that, I've still had good outcomes from it. So I think, it's something to work up to, definitely.
Imagine how good it's going to be now with the system.
Exactly. Do you know what your cost per click was?
I didn't even know that was a thing before this episode,
Yeah,
to be
see,
honest
that's
with
the
you.
thing. When you're saying that you had good results, what makes you say good results? Was that lots of bookings? What was it?
Lots of bookings and people actually coming in and paying for the service. And then I received a few regular clients out of that, not just
Imagine.
one-offs.
So
Yeah.
that tells you that your ads were targeting your avatar correctly, right? Like
Yes.
that's the best part. But if you go back into your meta history, you'll be able to see, you can look at it for time periods. So you'll be able to see what your cost per click was. And then you might find out that you had a magical ad that was 5 cents per click. And that would be the dream. Chuck thousands of dollars on it because I mean, don't, but like, because you'll make it back tenfold because it was low cost per click and it got good results. That's the dream. But if you went
Yeah.
into it and you found out that the cost per click was $1.50, okay, cool. You got heaps of people, and maybe you factored $1.50 in as when you did your how to set your prices calculator. To that was your marketing spend, and maybe that's okay. But if your marketing spend was like $1 per client, okay, well, maybe that actually wasn't such a good ad because actually
Yeah.
it increased your marketing spend by an additional 50%. So you split test to get that cost down. Because why should we pay $1.50? Like Zuckerberg's got enough money. Let's give him 20 cents.
He does have too much money.
Yeah.
I mean, who builds a statue for their wife in their backyard? Like that's crazy.
You would love if Roy did that for you.
I would. I'm just salty that his wife has a statue. That's why.
Yeah.
One day, Pat. We'll go to your place and there's a statue.
Like so judgy, and literally the thing that she would love most in this world is if she came home and there was a statue of her and her dog in the front yard, she would immediately message us all and be like, you will never believe what Roy did for me. Like no part of her would be like, ooh, can you believe him? I can't believe he thought this was a good idea. Her first instinct would be to go and get like jewelry and dress up the statue.
100%. I would be so obsessed with
That
it.
is
That's
so
why I'm so
Pat.
salty about the Zuckerberg statue.
So really, you just don't want to give him statue money.
No, no more statues for her. Statues for me.
Well, if you get a good performing ad with a low cost per click, you could buy your own damn statue.
That would be, yeah. Let's go for that.
Okay, so Pat, I think you said something important just before where you said that the idea of split testing 125 ads got overwhelming for you. And I think a lot of people listening will have been like, holy shit, I don't know how to do that. So, what I want is from your understanding of what I just said, can you tell me like the unoverwhelming version?
Ooh, okay. I'm like,
Okay.
whoa, on the spot. If
Well, I know
I
that you understand it because you've done accelerator and stuff. So, like, yeah, for the pats in the back, fill us in.
Okay, I guess first of all, you want to start with something that you like. So you have a picture that you like, you have copy that you like, or like a description, and you have a headline. And you put that into, I think the easiest way to maybe do this is if you start in a spreadsheet, because I think I get overwhelmed by forms. But if I were in a spreadsheet, then I can be like, this is the picture, this is the headline, this is the description. and then copy the whole row into 5. And then I just go into the heading column and change the heading of the 4. That, for some reason, being in a spreadsheet is less overwhelming than looking at like a giant, like, I don't know, Facebook Meta. The Meta Center is scary. And then you copy all of those 5 rows and then you go paste and then you change it again. Like you're changing all of the descriptions. And then do you
Yeah.
copy the whole thing again? Like everything? Oh, okay. So you start with like, wait, let's open like a spreadsheet. No, I don't have the
You
time
are
to open
out
a
the gate.
spreadsheet.
Do you know what though? You're onto something because I totally forgot until you started saying this that the first campaign I ran, I used a spreadsheet. And
Ah.
the second time I did it, I opened up a spreadsheet and I got overwhelmed by the spreadsheet because now I understood it. So I got overwhelmed by all of the data in front of me and started just doing it in Meta. But you're actually
Oh,
so right. The very first time that spreadsheet was a godsend, and then I didn't need it anymore.
okay. That's cool. I guess it's just to get the mechanics, right? Like,
I will
Yeah.
say as well, the other thing that like sounds overwhelming but actually isn't is the fact that you can duplicate and edit ads all at once. So when I say that you like duplicate 25 all at once, you don't then have to go into all 25 and individually change shit. You can click them all and bulk edit and just change the image for all 25. So they've already got variations of headings and variations of descriptions because you already did that, but you bulk edit and you just change the image, all 25 were done, and it takes 2 seconds.
That makes it so much easier. I was thinking that I have to go into all of them.
The idea of the spreadsheet would mean that really, once you had the spreadsheet laid out, you had to go in and make 125 ads. Whereas actually, when you're
mm,
duplicating and bulk editing, I can make 125 ads. If I've already made my images, I can make 125 ads in 10 minutes.
I think it'll take me way
Wow.
longer than that just because I've never done it. But
Yeah, no,
that's
the,
good to
Yeah,
know.
but you
the
get
first
quicker at
time
it,
with the
right?
spreadsheet,
Yeah.
yeah, the first time with the spreadsheet, it'll take you a couple of hours, but the second time, it will take you 10 minutes.
That's so good
Because
to
now you've
hear.
got that knowledge in your brain, you've seen it visually on that spreadsheet, and now you understand it.
And then you can be super smug to other people and be like, what do you mean? Why is it taking you so long to do your ads? Like,
Yeah. And you're right, the Meta backend platform is terrifying. It's so unuser friendly. Like, you're right. But also, though, if someone out there wants help, we do have mentors that can do like half-hour sessions with you to run through your ads with you. So just get in touch with us and be like, hey, I want a half-hour Zoom session with a mentor. We've got some mentors that specialize in business and marketing more than like not just doing the nail lessons. We've got a couple of mentors that specialize in working with our salon success students, and we can literally like book you in for a half hour or an hour and they can run through it with you. And then next time you're away laughing. Like you don't have to do it alone and get overwhelmed. We can help.
how good. And plus, there's also the fact that you can join the Monaco community and just chat with everyone here.
Yeah. Or join the podcast. Come do it on the podcast with us. Oh, I totally forgot, and I need to tell you right now. You can leave us voicemails for the podcast now. www.speakpipe.com/salon success. You go to that website and you can record a voicemail. It's 100% legit. There's no spammy, like crappy, like it's a legit thing. Speakpipe.com/salon success. It will send us your voicemail and then we can answer your questions. We can put you on the podcast. You can absolutely include your handle when you're doing it. Like, get yourself a shout out, girl. And then we'll put you on the podcast and we'll chat about the thing that you put in. We just set it up and then I forgot about it.
That is so cool.
That's
I've literally opened the website right now. It has the Monaco M. Like, ooh, can you do this on your phone as well? So I'm on desktop, but like you could do it on your phone probably.
I'm going to assume you can, but I tested it on desktop.
Yeah, 1 second. Speakpipe.com/salon success. That is so cool. Wait, load. Is your microphone ready? Start recording. Allow while visiting the site. Hello. I am just testing this. Hi, it's Pat. Okay, you need to do your name and you can have an email address
But the email's
Send.
optional because the email is for us. Like they do not then like record that and spam you with
It
it.
works.
Yes,
It
and
works.
you didn't have to put your email address in, right? Just your name.
No, it was just optional. I was just like,
Yeah.
I'll just put it in. Fill in the whole form.
So you don't have to worry. We're not stealing your info. You can literally just send us a question.
But send nice things. Don't send hate mail. Imagine if someone's just like, I hate all of you so much.
I will put it in an episode.
Yeah.
I'll turn it into a reel. Imagine how many views we'll get. Thanks, dude. Okay, so before we wrap this up, what are your guys' biggest takeaways from our chat today? Like when you run ads for the first time, Pat, or rerun ads another time, Alicia, what is the number one thing that you're going to incorporate from this chit chat that we had?
I'm totally going to start a spreadsheet. That is, for me, I need things written out in front of me. And as you say, Pat, meta is kind of a disaster and scary when you go into it. So having a spreadsheet in front of you that has all the goals lined out, all the headlines, the descriptions, what photos you want to add, I think that actually sets a goal. In the past, when I've run ads, I haven't, like, I've had a goal, but I haven't put that much thought behind it. And I think actually going through and properly organizing everything will make a big difference in the reach, hopefully.
So exciting. I think I was thinking along the same lines. Like mine was about, oh, split testing isn't actually as overwhelming as I thought because I knew split testing was a thing from Penny talking about it, but I was like, that's too hard. But now I'm like, hey, maybe I can do it. So that's what I'm taking away. You can do split testing. Woo!
Do you know if it's actually like I get that sometimes my brain goes off like a train and then I'm a million miles ahead of you guys. You want to split test something? Just duplicate your ad one time, change the heading. That's a split test. If you're split testing two headings, that is still a split test. Next time you run a campaign, try three or try a variation of the description. You don't have to go from no ads ever to 125 split tests.
That
Yeah.
is a very good point.
Alrighty, with that done and dusted, before you disappear, like our page or follow the podcast so that you don't miss the next episode. We'll be back next week. But until then, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching Monaco Nail Academy or follow our salons. Mine is Hard Lacquer NZ.
Mine is Patsive of Beauty.
And mine is Straight Up Nails NZ.
Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.